Ladies, it's Old Testament. Real rap of God type stuff. Fire, shivers, seas, all human sacrifice, dogs, living together. That's Harry.
Well, listen, I tell you what. Can they hear me? Of course they can hear me. Of course they can hear me. Well, listen, I'll tell you what. 30 minutes, 45 minutes late. Not that bad. At least when you're hearing my voice, we started playing music probably about 25 plus minutes ago. You're saying, well, Sam, where were you hearing the music? Well, I'll tell you, if you were actually listening to us on the radio, well, we started playing music about 20 plus minutes ago as we were trying to get everything situated. And what was that? Well, of course, it's Lord Blanket. Well, listen, the guy's got to get his due in. Well, what do you mean you have no idea about a Lord Blanket? Listen, we've been going over this for the last 5 years now. Lord Blanket shows up every Christmas. And then, supposedly, the magic of the golden giraffe is going to come around and it's going to stop Lord Blanket. But we all know that that's not the case. Children's imaginations continue to be disrupted by tablets and a whole bunch of other distractions as the imagination of children all over the world has been suppressed. It has been suppressed, and that suppression has happened because of Lord Blanket. Listen, I've been saying this the whole time. I don't think that it's very, I think that it's very upsetting that you guys think that this whole time I thought that Lord Blanket was not real. No, Lord Blanket is very real. And in fact, he's the reason why your He-Man sword disappeared, your Michelangelo Ninja Turtle. Yeah, well, it only ever had one nunchuck because you thought that the other one just floated down the river because you were silly enough to play with your action figures outside. Not exactly sure what that was all about. You didn't think that, what a GI Joe gun would go missing, go floating down the creek, right? But you always thought that that was the case. In fact, that's what your mom told you, your dad told you, and then you would sometimes blame your sibling. You would then start blaming your sibling and saying, well, hey, listen, you know what? I know that it was my sibling because he lost his GI Joe gun, so now I'm going to have to steal his GI Joe. Maybe you had a sister, a brother or sister. Maybe you had two. Maybe it was two sisters. And you might have been thinking, well, where did my Barbie shoes go? And you would sit there and think about it for a moment. You would say, well, I have no idea. But you know what? I think it was my older sister. My older sister lost Barbie's shoes. And so you just blame it on your sister. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. That is not the case. We all know that Lord Blanket is the reason why Barbie's shoes went missing. We know that is the reason why Michelangelo only had one nunchuck, and that is the reason why He-Man's sword disappeared. Outside of the fact that we all know that Skeletor is the good guy. No, Skeletor is the good guy. I don't understand why we have to go over this every couple of weeks. Every couple of weeks, we have to sit there and go over this concept. And that concept is that the bad guys in 80s cartoons are actually the good guys. And listen, we're going to be going over all of that in 2024. The reason why there is this mischaracterization of the bad guys. I think the good guys are at fault here, but you call them good guys. You might call them G.I. Joe, but the reality is that here I have had Arthur Burkhart, Destro himself, call in. I've talked to him both on and off record. I've talked to the Sergeant Slaughter. What have I told you that the G.I. Joe that you know that you've come to grow and love? Well, guess what? Here is the big part of all of this. G.I. Joe was being supplied by Destro as well. Yes, that's exactly right. You heard it here. G.I. Joe was supplied by Destro as well. I know this might seem like it's some kind of a revolutionary statement around that you might be saying, guess what? Here comes Sam talking about the fact that Destro was supplying weapons to the Joes. Well, that is the case. Destro was supplying weapons to the Joes, and that is a fact. Now, I know that there might be some people here in chat, and we'll just get to that. Poet, and I know it. Broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning. Like I said, I know we got to start it late. We only got about 9 minutes till the top of next hour. We'll keep chatting here for a few moments. I think I do have a song queued up. If not, we'll queue up a song here in just a little bit. Now, of course, people are sitting there asking about the top toys of 2023. Hey yo, hello, Laser Pants 81 in the house. Make sure you're following Laser Pants 81. Make sure you're following the 3POA podcast. Make sure you're following at Valaverse, and also our buddy, the real soldier of the bunch, Tony, over at Analog Toys. But one of the things that we want to sit there and shout out here just for a moment is that there have been amazing action figures and toys throughout the year. So I'm seeing Big M. I see Dr. I that just joined in. I see Darin, I guess. Big M, RHK 2000, Ash Bailey, Kato's Collection over here. Listen, we're broadcasting live on multiple fronts right now. Okay, so we have the Instagram feed. The Sam Cam is live on the Instagram feed, but the Sam Cam is live also over here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Facebook, YouTube, and X. And over here it is, once again, the Sam Cam on Instagram. So that is 4 streams right there. But I know this microphone keeps getting in my way. You know what that is? That's a real radio microphone. So I sit there and I have to point that out for a moment. That's a real radio microphone. We're broadcasting live on an FM signal. We do it every Saturday morning, of course. Dr. I, love you too, Dr. I. I'm a real soldier. No limit soldier. Listen, you know what? I tell you what, in terms of being something, yes, he might be a soldier, this Laser Pants 81, but I'll tell you what he is. He is 9 feet tall. Oh, he is. I was supposed to be able to interview him this year at Joe Fest, and I wasn't able to because there was a bunch of things that happened at the last minute. That's okay. That's okay. We'll eventually see him again in 2024 somewhere. There's going to be some toy convention that, of course, I'll show up to. I'm not exactly sure which one it is, but there'll be the one that I show up to in 2024. I'm sick and tired of the whole convention thing, right? It always just feels like a grift. They call it GriftCon, if you will. What was that? No. Yeah, no, Galaxy? No. How about Grift? GriftCon. No, yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. No, I'm just telling you right now. The whole circuit, what was that? They have a Politicon? I might go to that. Politicon? Yeah, what is it? Is it politics? What who's there? Bunch of right-wingers. What if I showed up and just started talking to them about the plane of Earth, if you will? You think they would be okay with that? Maybe they'd kick me out. They'd kick me out. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, can't talk about that." Casper, shout out to Casper. I hope you had a very TMNT Christmas. By the way, Casper makes I say says Laser Pants. I say I try to say this microphone. There we go. This microphone's all in the way. Real radio microphone. Listen, just think about it for a moment. If you're driving around Richmond and you're in your car, you're able to hear my beautiful puppet voice on the radio, WDCE 90.1 FM. You hear my beautiful puppet voice through the airwaves, and it's on an actual FM signal. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Sam, if you're like Laser Pants, you're over in the Pacific Northwest. You're in the Pacific Northwest. You might say, well, Sam, I can't just hop in my car and hear you on the radio. So what do I do? Well, you need to just download the Live 365 app, search WDCE, or very simple. I know a lot of people just will open up another window browser and type in WDCE.org. Type in WDCE.org. You'll be able to hear my beautiful puppet voice on the radio frequency, which is how this show is designed to be. Now, people sit there and they hear my beautiful puppet voice and they say, well, Sam, I need to see your beautiful puppet face. And I say, well, that's exactly right. That's why we have the Sam Cams running here on Instagram. We have the Sam Cams running on Facebook, YouTube, and X. But I tell you what, radio is theater of the mind. And so, of course, you might be having to travel, and you're traveling. It is still the holidays. You might be traveling and taking your relatives here or there. Maybe you're going to go visit some relatives. Maybe you're coming back from the relatives. Everybody's traveling. So I'm not telling you to just sit there and watch and see my beautiful puppet face. You can just listen to my beautiful puppet voice by downloading the app, the Live 365 app, and searching WDCE, or just opening up a browser and browser window, typing in WDCE.org, and you'll be able to hear, like I said, my beautiful puppet voice all over the airwaves. Now, of course, now I'm looking at the time now. I see the time is now about 9:56. Tell you what I'm going to do. 9:57. Just ding 9:57. Okay, so what do we have? We have a couple of things here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. One of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up a couple of cartoon themes. Of course, the only way you're going to hear those, cartoon themes is by listening to the app, WDCE, on the Live 365 app. You can download it in your Android and iPhone store, or go to the website, WDCE.org. You'll be able to hear the cartoon themes that will be playing here in just a few moments. I'm going to be back at about, 10:05? Like I said, I know we got started late here, but I'll be back 10:05. 10 o'clock. It's the 10 o'clock toy hour. And of course, we have some new announcements that we'll be making starting in the next year. A couple of regular guests that will be coming on frequently. So want to shout out to all those people. Once again, everybody in the chats, everybody here in the chats over here. I see a couple of people just joined. Anime Figure. What is this? Also, the Job O Experience. Yes. And good morning. Good morning. It says Sam, good morning. It's an interactive show. We're going to try to sit there and get a little bit more interactive here. The 10 o'clock toy hour here is coming up in just a few moments. Make sure you download the Live 365 app, search WDCE, and you'll be able to listen to that. Also go to WDCE.org. You can do that as well. Follow me at Sam Newsman all over social media. That's where you can find me, at Sam Newsman, all over social media. Setting the standard, raising the bar, the only way a real media puppet knows how to do, here on the only award-winning. Did I tell you that we won awards? Yeah. Number 3 by the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Yeah, the only award-winning radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real media puppet. Stay tuned. I'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes here live on the camera. But once again, keep listening, because radio, it's theater of the mind. And we'll be back in the nick of time. I wouldn't, I know it. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman. And this is Saturday morning.